Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Taylor Howard, and I'm with Resplendent Arkansas, a PR firm based here in Northwest Arkansas. I am so excited that as a community, we get to celebrate this huge moment of growth in Northwest Arkansas, and specifically here in Rogers. Today, we come together to recognize another exciting addition to our community and a huge moment for professional sports in our region. It is my pleasure to welcome Chris Martinovic and Warren Smith from USL Arkansas, Rogers Mayor Greg Hines, co-chair of Arkansas Council Marshall Savers, and Justin Papadakis of the United Soccer League. We want to take a moment to thank Northwest Arkansas Council, Bank OZK, Colliers International, and Rendezvous Junction Brewing Company. After our announcement commemorating why we're all here today, followed by some brief remarks, we will close with a photo opportunity and handle any press requests at that time. At this time, I'd like to welcome our first speaker to the podium, United Soccer League Deputy CEO and Chief Real Estate Officer, Justin Papadakis.
All right. Well, good morning, and thank you all so much for being here. I want to tell you about how this journey began. We got a call 4 years ago from Chris, and he said, Justin, I know you guys are looking at a lot of markets to expand into, and I have the best market for you. And I said, okay, which market? He said, Northwest Arkansas. And I said, Chris, thanks. We're looking at big markets, with Phoenix and other ones. He said, Justin, trust me, come here for a weekend. You'll get what I'm saying. From that weekend that I spent here in Northwest Arkansas, I've had the same conversations probably hundreds of times with people. And when asked about what market I'm most excited about for the USL, I say Northwest Arkansas. During the pandemic, so many of my friends, their jobs went remote. They're in New York, in LA, and San Francisco, and they're looking, now that they can live anywhere. And they said, where's the next Austin? I'm just looking for that. Where should we go? And I tell everyone, go look at Northwest Arkansas. And as Mrs. Hunt just said, just go for a weekend. You'll see what I'm talking about. But you have to go. And they say, well, what's so special about it? Why Northwest Arkansas? So we can talk about, the bike path and crystal bridges and the lakes. But I said, you have to go there. And I don't know how to describe it other than people just love living there. And you just got to go there and see that for yourself. Spending so many time in traveling around the country looking at markets, what just amazes me about Northwest Arkansas is really the palpable sense of collective mission to build a community that everyone just loves to live, work, and play in. And the Northwest Arkansas Council and the Hunt family and so many other people, companies, it's amazing how you just come together and say, we're going to make Northwest Arkansas one of the best places in the country to live, work, and play, and have executed on that mission for so many years. Building community-driven clubs is the mission of USL. When a professional men's and women's team is playing here in a couple years, you'll be joining a league within USL that we have 6 million fans coming to our games every year. We'll have over $6 billion of stadium anchored development. And we will have completed the largest and fastest growth of stadium builds of any sports league in the world. However, what makes soccer so special, though, and when my family started building USL back in 2008, most people said our vision of being able to be here today and have 6 million people come to our matches, that's impossible. Soccer's not investable. It's not the right sport. So many reasons. For me, though, and for my family, the sport of soccer growing up had this special superpower, and that's because my dad he came from a really very poor family in Greece. They immigrated over from Athens to Winnipeg, Canada, so little bit of a climate change. And he didn't speak the language. He had very poor schooling. They didn't have any money, but he happened to be really good at soccer. And through the sport of soccer, he was able to get a college scholarship and go to law school. And then ultimately, when we said as a family, how can we have the biggest impact? It was through, we believe, through the sport of soccer. That same drive, after we've been very successful on the men's side, we had that same approach on the women's side of soccer. Again, a lot of the same voices. Women's professional sport isn't investable. They can't generate enough fans and sponsorship dollars to be successful. We don't believe that. In conversations with so many stakeholders here in Northwest Arkansas, you all don't believe that. And when we see the power of women's sports, I think it is going to make the speed and acceleration of men's soccer in the United States look like a long time. What's so special here is that we can build one of the best women's soccer teams in the world. And when I say the world, I really mean that. In a couple weeks, the Women's World Cup will start, and that's where you have United States versus other countries. Starting in a couple of years, they'll have the Women's Club World Cup, where Northwest Arkansas will be playing Chelsea and Real Madrid and Barcelona and AC Milan. And we, because of the help of all of you, can show everyone around the world how Northwest Arkansas is on the world stage, and it is a city that you really need to come visit, and it's on the map. So to conclude, my biggest hope with bringing a men's and women's professional team here to Northwest Arkansas is that will be the platform for thousands of other people to say, Northwest Arkansas, I've heard about it, and seeing it, every game's a 2-hour commercial, and they're going to be seeing it, and they're going to come here, and they are going to have the same feeling that I had and that so many of others had. Once you come here, you see what a special community this is. And so on behalf of my family, the USL, I just want to say thank you to all of you for really the honor of inviting us into your community and hopefully being part of this amazing region that you're building. So thank you so much. With that, I want to turn it over to Chris.
Good morning. Thank you, Justin. Thank you not only for being here today, but thank you to the USL League for all of their support over the last 4 years of discussions, believe it or not. Justin's been out here 3 to 4 times already with numerous executives from the league, so they're very, very excited about this community that we all live in. I'd like to thank a few other folks that are here. I'd like to thank Ms. Hunt and the Hunt family for their attendance and their support and this beautiful property that we're on today, and the amazing progress that the vision that the Hunt family had for this area and this region is just amazing, and we think we can help take it to the next level. Mayor Hines, thank you for all your support over time and numerous discussions, and thank you for being here today as well. Representative Richardson, thank you also for your attendance and your support. Appreciate it. I also want to thank a few key folks on our team that have made this possible. This takes a village. Warren Smith, I'll introduce him after I speak, but Warren brings a tremendous amount of experience in launching, managing, and operating professional sports franchises. Very unique skill set and has been very successful with it, and we're lucky and fortunate to have him be a partner in this program here. I want to thank Wes Harris. Wes Harris is our first employee of USL Arkansas, actually, and has been tremendous in our day-to-day operations, making days like today possible. So thank you, Wes. I want to thank Steve Lane and Collier's Group. So we'll talk a little bit about this property and location, but a big part of us being here today on this property is because of Collier's and Steve Lane and the analysis and the research that went into picking the best premium spot that we think we could be the most successful for. So thank you, Steve and the Collier's Group. Lastly, I just want to thank Colin Whitehead. Colin is when I started discussing with Colin, he was at the University of Arkansas. He heard a rumor, what I was starting to do here, and he took the initiative and started an online supporters group that had about 3 people when we first started, and I think now we're close to 1,000 people in this group, all built of local, grassroots, organically grown, without any PR or messaging. And these are folks that are just so excited to have professional soccer, men's and women's, in Northwest Arkansas. So thank you, Colin, for your work. Real quick on my story. I was also a son of immigrants. My mother came here from Croatia. Loved the game. I grew up with the game. I played all sports, but soccer was special, and the enthusiasm and the passion that the sport brings was just amazing. And so I saw firsthand what the sport can do for communities and how it can unite. I was fortunate enough to play in college at Seton Hall University, and then I played in this league. And that was a really, really exciting opportunity for me to see what different communities and how they rallied behind their different teams. And so I wanted to leverage that into what we can bring here. I moved here in 2007. I didn't know much about Northwest Arkansas. I didn't know much about Arkansas, to be honest. Had to convince my family to come from New Jersey. And we came here, and about 3 days later, we said, we might not ever leave this place. And that was 2007. And so, typical story. I was a supplier of Walmart, and I absolutely loved it. Great quality of life, great people, great opportunities, great growth. We all know the story of Northwest Arkansas. I think Pinnacle Hills at that point didn't even have the Walmart neighborhood market yet. I think that was one of the first developments that spurred this whole development with the Hunt's family support. And then one of the challenges I had with Northwest Arkansas was I was used to having a bunch of professional sports to go to. I traveled, I had 12 teams I could pick from in the metropolitan area of New York and New Jersey. And then we came here, and I had to travel with my family 3 to 5 hours. And it wasn't just me. It was a whole bunch of community folks, youth sports parents that traveled to Dallas and Kansas City and Tulsa and Memphis to go watch professional sports. And frankly, I'm sick of that. I want us to bring it here. I want us to stay here. I want to keep our economic dollars here. I want to keep this community growing. And that was the driver of getting this started. I really love this community. This is home for us. And so we started the project in 2019. It was a crazy idea I had at that time. As Justin mentioned, reached out to Justin and USL. And once they learned a little bit about Northwest Arkansas, they were fully on board. And today gets us one step closer to that realization. We started partnering with USL, started partnering with Collier's, doing a lot of research, understanding the community, what are the needs, a lot of listening sessions, engaging with different segments of the community. And we quickly realized that we have the fastest growing sport in the world, fastest growing sport in America, and we have one of the fastest growing regions in America. And it's just a perfect fit. And we're really excited about that future and what that looks like. In 2022, I partnered with Warren Smith. We're lucky that Warren Smith, while he was living in California, he's been coming to Northwest Arkansas for 30 years. And so we're really fortunate. I didn't have to give him the Northwest Arkansas sales pitch. He knew all about it already. And we formed our partnership in 22, and Warren was a big driver of us securing this land here in this location, and because of his experience in starting up multiple successful franchises. And then I mentioned Wes Harris has kind of come on board as we've progressed and kept building our project here. So we're really thrilled to showcase, our region to the globe. As we talk to community leaders and business leaders, one of the biggest feedbacks we get is that we're recruiting talent, not just nationally anymore. We're recruiting talent globally. And so why not have the global sport here in our home backyard as another lever for them to be excited and another opportunity for them to be entertained when they come to Northwest Arkansas. So with that, we're officially excited to announce that we secured the rights to the land of the stadium right here in Rogers, Arkansas, beautiful Pinnacle Hills Entertainment District. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Warren Smith, and thank you very much for your time.
Okay, for the record, unlike Justin and Chris, I too played soccer though, but only one game, and I broke my leg in the first minute. Hated it. Fell in love with it in Portland, where we actually took over the Portland Beavers AAA baseball team, the Beavers, and it came with a little team called the Portland Timbers that we actually tried to close. The mayor wouldn't let us because they played in a city building. Long story short is I was one of the guys that had to figure it out. And that's where I fell in love, because the relationship between fan and brand and what we do, because it's so community based, it's just electric. So just to have a supporters group like we already have, and we haven't even announced, we've never really had formal conversations with, it's just amazing to see that kind of support. So we're really excited about that. And in every community, there's always people when we sit at the table that we need to thank for setting the table. And for that, I'd like to thank the Hunt family for their vision, for what they've helped to create in this, what is really now the family room of Northwest Arkansas. This is where people come to be entertained and have a great time. So that we can't survive in building stadiums, and with the hope of stuff coming, we have to have it right from the very beginning. That's why we Colliers helped us to find this property. But with that, if Jonelle, if you wouldn't mind coming up and saying a couple words, would you like to? Come on up.
It's not because I'm 91 that I can't walk so well, but I've been sick, and so that's my excuse for this, that I need a little help. But this is such an exciting day, and all I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you, because you, like my husband, saw the vision of what Northwest Arkansas is and could be and will be, and it will continue because of what you are doing here now. This is a big thing. This, beside looking there at this and thinking how big this is going to be for us. And like I said, I wish he was here today, because he had this vision and he looked over this land and he knew that someday all of this was going to be here. And then I think of all the developers that came along, and not just us, we don't do it all. We've got all these great developers that make this happen because they believe in it too. They buy the land and they build and they grow and they make it better. And I have to say thank you so much, Steve Lang and Colliers, for saying this is the place for it, showing it to him, and knowing that this is the perfect place for a soccer team to be like this and to have a soccer field like this. Soccer, from all we hear, is going to be the next big thing, because my goodness gracious, these little bitty kids about 2 years old are playing soccer. What do you think is going to be their favorite sport one of these days? And so we're going to have it right here. And when anything is brought to us, we always look at it and we really think family first. We're all about anything that's family first. That's what we like to see. And so when this came to us, and it was another addition to family, something good for families for Northwest Arkansas. And so I just want to thank everybody involved and all of you that have worked so hard. And I thank you for choosing this property, because I think it will be just the perfect location for that everybody will see and everybody will come to. And I'm going to be sitting right there on the front row. Thank you.
So as Chris shared, I've been coming here for 30 years. Grandmother moved to Bella Vista from Missouri. First trip here, drove from Tulsa, tried to find a place to be entertained, and drove all the way down to Fayetteville. Look at what happens now. I can make thousands of decisions before having to get all the way down there, but love Fayetteville as well. So I've got to watch this region punch above its weight class. What you do as a community is inspiring, man. It really is something cool. And I wish the rest of the country, didn't really know. I wish they knew who you were right now. But that's our goal, is to help you really tell the story behind Northwest Arkansas. Soccer is the growing sport, but it's not just going to be there. In every other community in the country, it's already there. It's just you're just not familiar with it. So the thing I love about soccer and why I fell in love with it, again, that relationship, is community oriented. What you will see from us starting right away is getting out into the community and having a conversation, growing relationships. We already started last night with yesterday afternoon with the soccer clubs, and last night with the supporters groups, again, people that are just interested in what we're doing. And we're asking the question, why do you love Northwest Arkansas? Why do you love this community? And what we're trying to get to are those emotions that ultimately, that are common here, that will lead to a brand that everyone feels that they love and that they participated in creating. So that's what you're going to see from us. And frankly, that's how we market. That's how we survive. We actually get out into the community and build relationships. So you'll see that almost immediately. Of course, we're going to have to ramp up. There's a lot of work to do. Want to thank the city of Rogers, as we're in front of the city right now on a zoning change for the property, which gets heard next week, and then we'll start the formal development process with them after that. I've had some success, as you mentioned, Portland Timbers, and then 2013 started the Sacramento Republic Football Club, won a championship in 2014. Amazing what that community did to actually help to support that. And then was fortunate enough to actually start a club in San Diego with Landon Donovan, the most famous soccer player in the United States in San Diego, that called the San Diego Loyal. Another great success story because of what we were able to do in the community and how we made a difference there. By the way, all of those were top performers in the league, not just on the field, but in all the metrics that the league needs to look at. So I'm pretty confident I wouldn't have made this decision if we couldn't get to the top of the league here in Northwest Arkansas. The last thing I'd just like to end with is that it's our job to unite, inspire, and make connections, and ultimately allow for relationships to grow. Imagine a lot of people come into a game that they don't know. So we want to create an atmosphere that is ultimately exciting, first of all, safe, and that they have a wonderful time, whether or not they like soccer or not. If they at least turned their heads towards us and came and had a great time, then great success. Now, if they stop and have a beer at Rendezvous Junction Brewery, or if they stop and have a bite at Walk-Ons beforehand or after, we've just made an experience even better, right? Because we're only 2-hour events, and the average person wants to be entertained between 4 and 5 hours. This is the right property for that. And so again, we want to thank the Hunt family, the city, and everybody else for their vision. So thank you for allowing me to play a role in this. Really excited about that, and thank you, Chris, for your partnership. So with that, I'd like to introduce Marshall Savers, the co-chair of the Northwest Area Council.
All right. So cool to hear people like Warren and Justin coming in from outside the region and talk it up, because as natives here, we love hearing that. And not all of us are really natives, but I would get best Chris, even though 2007, right? You're a native now, right? So it's also really neat to follow Mrs. Hunt as a partner of hers at Sage. She's been such a great example for the region, and her entrepreneurial spirit is embodied in this area. And so thank you. And I love being around you every day. So on behalf of the council, we certainly are thrilled to welcome USL Arkansas here. It's such a great experience to do that. And so I'm going to say a few words. I'm sandwiched between Ms. Hunt, Warren, and the mayor, so this is going to be brief. The NWA Council is a strong advocate of USL Arkansas and believes the addition of professional soccer will be an invaluable asset to the community by fostering an environment for both sports and soccer fans alike. Northwest Arkansas consistently ranks as one of the best places to live and work in the country. And this club and league will help the region share its story nationally and internationally, helping drive tourism and attract new residents. So you've heard this all from the guys and gals before me, so no reason to belabor that, but just want to formally welcome them to the region. Glad you guys are all here today, and with that, I'll give it over to Mayor Hines.
He wasn't kidding about being brief. I'm usually the most brief speaker at an event like this. Soccer fans are crazy as hell. They've got me wearing a scarf in 90-degree heat. So there's no doubt this is going to be a huge success, right? It was referenced that Rogers is the family room of Northwest Arkansas, and that's one I haven't heard yet. So we've called this kind of ground zero, the downtown of Northwest Arkansas, but I really like the reference to family room, because that's where great things happen with families, and that's what we are in Northwest Arkansas. We're one big family. I think the secret to the sauce, as you mentioned earlier, in Northwest Arkansas is that, while we're all individual cities that certainly compete, we all want to do better than the other, but we understand that we're only as strong as the strongest link, and we're as weak as the weakest link. And so when something good happens in Springdale, I want to celebrate it, because when something bad happens here the next day, they're going to be here with us, standing next to us, trying to help us recover. And this is a day where we get to talk about how Northwest Arkansas is not just a place that is known for Walmart and Tyson and J.B. Hunt. We're now known internationally. I can't travel anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world that within 48 hours I don't stumble across somebody that I can link back to Northwest Arkansas. And because of that, this great little community that was population 11,700 the year I was born here, and now over 73,000+, has grown not organically from within, but has invited guests from all over the nation and the world to live and work and play here. And it couldn't fill my heart anymore than to see the great diversity in the way that we are welcoming to everyone. And there's no sport. And look, I played all sports, but I did not play soccer. That was not a sport that was prevalent here when I was growing up. So I don't have an experience of being on a team and seeing how that camaraderie in soccer, and it's as much as camaraderie plays into football and baseball and basketball, it doesn't even pale in comparison to soccer. These folks are crazy. I mean, I've got a niece that they've traveled all over the world to play in a club sport. I mean, the money they spend, they could own a vacation home in Madrid. And I think they're nuts for doing it. But you know what? It's their life, and it's their people, and it's their culture. And in a time in this world where I don't think, and Raymond Burns is, I don't know, he's lived a long, long time. And he's seen a lot. But I don't know that anybody in this room or in this tent that's cool, so cool, has ever seen this world more divided than it is currently. And so one of the things that's exciting to me about this is that there's no sport or activity on the planet that brings people together more than soccer. I mean, the culture that it breeds is it's palatable when you're in the presence of it. And so that part is super exciting to me. The other thing that hasn't been really focused on or mentioned is that, this facility's built for the purpose of soccer, but that's certainly not the only purpose of the facility. This facility will be multi-use and will be able to bring people together to celebrate arts and culture and other sports, and then future expansion will even make opportunities like that more broad in the future. And so, this is my 13th year in this office, my 23rd year in elective office in Rogers. I've seen a lot of growth, a lot of change. And I decided when I took office on 1/1/11 that I was going to focus on Northwest Arkansas versus focusing on the city of Rogers when I had opportunities to speak in public. And I'm going to continue to do that throughout the rest of my tenure in this office, however long that may be, 5 years. Up for re-election next year, by the way. So I need need you to turn out one more time. But I'll continue to do that throughout the rest of my tenure, and we've taken a few hits for it. I think a few other cities have started to beat their chest a little bit more as Rogers has, as I've taken more of a back seat to pumping our chest and talking about the great things happening here. But I think the vitality of Northwest Arkansas, the future of Northwest Arkansas, when I'm sitting on the front porch telling kids to get off my lawn someday, and I've got a grandkid that asks me, why'd you do it this way, Papa, or why'd you decide to react that way, make this decision or that decision, I want to be able to give them a reason versus an excuse. And a reason is based on well thought out strategy. And the strategy is that Springdale can't do this alone. Bentonville, though they think they can, they can't. I realize, that when money's not an object, it's things are a lot easier. I love our little brother over in Bentonville, though. Don't get me wrong. Fayetteville, despite, ad nauseum, I could tell them they can't do it alone. They'll never get it. But the fact is that none of us can do it alone. We are as dependent upon each other as any relationship that you could find. And so because of that, I'll continue to focus on Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas today, this is a banner day. This is a banner day that will be looked upon for decades as a game changer for this region. And I'm super excited to be a part of it. I'm super excited to be I'm a technocrat. I'm not really a politician. I was a cop before I got this job. And so I'm a policy wonk. I love budget. Kissing babies and cutting ribbons is, it's okay. It's fine. I'll do it because it's part of the job. But this kind of stuff excites me because when y'all came into my office, I thought, these guys have got a big idea, And I love big ideas, but I'm kind of the realist of things. And the more that we started talking about this project, and the more that I looked into the numbers behind the scenes, man, y'all had me. Y'all had me. This will succeed. There's no question in my mind. And I'm the biggest skeptic in the world. So if I'm behind you and I believe in you, the sky is the limit, right? So congratulations. It's so wonderful to see you. It's been too long. Look forward to grabbing lunch sometime soon. Just appreciate all that you and your family have done for the region and particularly for the ground that we stand on today. Your husband was a big idea guy. And I would say of all the pioneers, he probably was the biggest idea guy. And he made it reality. And he showed all of us and inspired all of us to know that there's no reason to believe that we can't accomplish anything that we want to. And it's that spirit, it's that blind faith that makes Northwest Arkansas work. I mean, I'm a Christian, and I've always in the Methodist Church, the bishop brings new pastors in, and you don't have any say over it. So every 5 or 6 years, I get a new preacher, and you talk to him, and they say, well, tell me about your faith. Like, I'm stupid. Like, I don't even challenge my faith. I'm too dumb to get into all the deep questions. I'm just going to believe this because it isn't going to hurt me, right? I mean, at the end of the day, well, it's that kind of blind faith in the pioneers of Northwest Arkansas that breeds an entire group of people to think nothing's unaccomplishable. The sky's the limit, and I truly believe that. And it's kind of funny. the first time I met your husband, we got our hair cut at the same place when I was a kid. And so I'm here's this 7-year-old, 6-year-old kid, and they're sitting next to JB Hunt, and all I can remember is he had a Rolex watch. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And but this guy would lean down to my level and ask me sincere questions about, first grade and how things were going and what sports are you playing, and of course I didn't know who he was. And then once I got old enough to figure it out and put the two to two together, I'm like, why was he even talking to me? I'm surprised this guy wasn't like, hey, here's a quarter, go wash my car. But he didn't. He took a sincere interest, and I'll never forget that and always appreciate that as one of my fondest memories. So thank you again. Congratulations, Northwest Arkansas. We are now officially on the international map of sports.
Thank you everyone for your time today. This is now the conclusion of the press conference. For any media requests, please direct them to Andrea, and we will be meeting at Rendezvous Junction to continue the celebration. We invite you to take any pictures now, and interview opportunities will be available at Rendezvous. Thank y'all.